Very good evening, my dear kids. Today, we are going to conclude another section in economics. That section is factors of production, and our discussion on factors of production is very fundamental and it's very crucial because we have a subject called economics because of a universal problem we all face, and that problem relates to factors of production. The name of the problem is scarcity of resources, and resources and factors of production we can use interchangeably as they give us the same identical common meaning. Economists classify the factors of production into four categories. We have covered first two categories of them, and they were land. Land means all the natural resources, and capital. Capital means all man-made resources. All man-made resources. So our discussion on those two we have completed. Now what we need is we need to cover the other two factors of production, which means labor and entrepreneurship. And after that, we have another section, very small section to cover, that is productivity, which means having different types of resources is not enough. We need to focus on the productivity of those factors as well. Before the session begins, now even some students join with what do you call some device names and all. I just saw a new one join now. Puta, please rename your device, Pute, quickly. I can see the word Anush, but I don't think that it is a proper name. Name and the surname. Puta, the one who joined just now. 10C Anush. Rename it, Pute. තාම සමරක් ළමයි එක නමකින් ඉන්නේ නම් දෙකක් තියෙන්න ඕන මම කියන දේ කරන්න එතකොට මට ලේසි වැඩේ name and the surname it has to be there please rename Isumi you have one name so far please change it right Anush that name also changed no right it is because doing an online class something there are like administrative purposes මම මේ අනිත් අයට කියන අනිත් මම මේක කියලා තියෙනවා right administrative purpose means if something happens we have to have proof right okay these students they were the students who were here these records we have to have that is why I respectfully ask you to do that it's a very small thing huh? Right okay get the tutorial first page number 44 page number 44 please put the date at the top of the page just over and above the topic human resources right so you all can see the topic human resource type 1 labor. Human resource type 1, labor. So it is the 10th session that we are doing today. Session number 10. Labor. Of course, this is not a complicated topic for you to understand. I think this is quite easy because we all know what labor is. And you know that you have the ability to provide labor. You have seen people of various professions who provide labor, but there is a way of defining it. We define in economics labor resources in this way. Please write this down. Labor is the physical and mental abilities. Labor is the physical and mental abilities of people with which they can contribute to the production of a good or a service. Putta, you all can see physical and mental abilities. Now, at the moment, there is a labor that is flowing from me to benefit you. Although there is a little physical involvement, most of my involvement to this service is mental. Lots of thinking, logical argument, mental arrangement, imagination, visualization, logic, simplification, giving examples. So that is my labor at the moment. So I contribute to a production of a service and it is delivered at the moment as well. So labor contains a physical as well as a mental component. Physical component means now some laborers, their physical dimension is larger than that of mental dimension. So they are the laborers, like you can see, you have seen in your schools, minor staff, those uncles and aunties who do gardening, basic cleaning. So their physical dimension is bigger. And then we see mental abilities and basically your teachers and office people, administrative people, they. Right. Finish writing, my kids. Labor is the physical and mental abilities of people with which they can contribute to the production of a good or a service. So this is not a natural resource. This is not a man-made resource. Instead, it is a human resource. This is about us. This is about some abilities we have with which we can contribute to the production of a good or a service. Finish writing, Putta. Good. Very good. Right. Good, good. I'm very happy with the speed now. Huh? Great. Listen, kids. Listen. Speed. In A level, some students never understand that speed matters. Even some teachers do not encourage the students to think about it. Right? Because some teachers really want the book to be nice. Good, yes. Handwriting to be perfect. No, what I'm suggesting you is clarity in your handwriting and simplicity and relevance and meaning of what you write. You don't have time to write beautiful handwriting because you know when you add too much of beauty to what you write, then it slows you down. Only very few students can write really fast and maintain that supreme beauty. I can remember some 10 years ago, she had the best handwriting that I have ever seen in my life. And I can't imagine how fast she write, and the beauty, lovely handwriting, and the speed is amazing. It's a gift. It's a gift. But normally I have seen lots of students who write really fast, but only they themselves can read what they have written. And I have seen some beautiful, very beautiful handwriting, and those students manage to answer only half or uh, 3/4 of the paper. The remaining part they don't have time to because right, you have to be a strategist in this case. You have to finish a paper. For that, speed is important. Okay, when to practice speed? After the class. Tell me, when to practice the speed after the class? Huh? What is the best time to practice speed? Kian, mage putala kian. What is the best time to practice speed? Honda putala wage kian. After the class? It's a no, during the class. During. ඒ වෙලාවේ කරන්න ඕන. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. Right? It has to be on the job work. It's not off the job. On the job. When you write fast. But make sure clarity is there. Clarity. Can not you read. Can my mother, father, someone else can read. So handwriting has to be big enough, clear enough. And what you write should be meaningful, relevant. All right. It's a simple advice, right? Okay. So you can see some examples for physical labor and mental labor. For physical labor, I have given here laborers, machine operators, farmers, and those who repair machines. Mental labor, architects, lecturers, authors, designers, software developers. So both are very important. Now I'm a kind of a person, my mental labor part is stronger than my physical labor part, right? But I have seen some people whose physical labor side is enormous. We can't even think of doing what they are doing with that speed, with that order, with that physical power, right? And you have seen supreme personalities with mental power, right? Some architects, right? When they, I know there's a friend of mine who is an architect. The way he thinks, like whenever he sees a land or something, he says, Majang, I can instantly locate a building there. So that's how, whenever he sees a land, that's how he has trained his brain, right? The size, the physical dimension of the land and the slopes and all. So he constructs, mentally constructs a house. So superb thinkers are there, right? So it's mental labor, physical labor, mental labor. Okay, and it mostly comes with human capital. I'm very happy my loving Metsala made that point. She says, sir, is the imaginative skills of an author consider human capital or labor? It's definitely human capital, but it is expressed through labor. My kid, did you understand, Pute? Right? It's definitely human capital, but it is expressed through the labor. Perfect. I really wanted to use that word and you used it before me, which means you have been turning into a pro now. Pro means, right? Vedda, vedda. Mitsala? Good, huh? Right. Okay. Features of labor. Labor has some characteristics. Okay. First we'll write. First 5 we'll write. Then there are 5 more, right? They have been given to the book. No, we'll write the first one. First, this is animate. labor is an animate resource. Live. This is animate. Second, it has the ability to respond. Machine can't respond to you. Nature does not respond in the way you want, but labor responds both in the way you want and in the ways you don't want. Okay? So labor definitely has the ability to respond. Number 3, speed is important. මාත් එක්ක තරහ වෙන්න එපා. සර් ඔයාගේ ස්පීඩ් එක වැඩි කියලා මාත් එක්ක තරහ වෙන්න එපා. වැඩි නම් කියන්න පුතේ. But this is on the job training. I have to train you to improve your speed of writing. Okay? Right. Third one, can be moved. They can be moved. Labor can be moved from one place to another place, one job to another job, one factory to another factory, one organization to another organization, one country to another country. Simple. Next, earn wages and salaries. Labor does not earn interest or profits. Labor does not earn rental income, but labor earns wages and salaries. Wages and salaries. Earn wages and salaries. Number 5, not identical. Now, consider 5 machine operators working with a similar machine in one organization. Do you think that all these 5 laborers are identical, Puta? Just tell me. You can have 5 identical machines. Can you have 5 identical laborers? මට උත්තර දෙන්න මගේ පුතාලා. පුතේ, can you have 5 identical persons? Not 5, can you find 2? No, right? That's the thing. You can't. You can't. So you got the points, right? You got the points. Not identical. Labor is not identical. Very good. This is animate. It has the ability to respond. They can be moved. They earn wages and salaries. Not identical. Finish writing? Can be cloning. Yes, can be cloning. But if you have watched the movie Sixth Day, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and another one, Replicant, Van Damme, even you realize that they are not perfect. Cloning, what those 2 movies, Sixth Day, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and another beautiful movie, Replicant, Van Damme, beautiful movies, and even it's cloned. They don't think in the same way. Onila, that is for you, sweetheart. Onila, kollo, terno neda. Good. Right, okay. Can we say that human capital is a type of capital that is expressed through labor? Definitely, Methuselah. That's it. Yes. You can see it from basically through labor and what labor does and how labor does what it does. Right. Oh, wait. Before we come here, we need to go to the tutorial to discuss what? Get the tut. Features. You wrote the first 5. I read number 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 6. Follow me, right? Its productivity can be improved by training, development, and education. It's basically mean human capital. Labor can be made more productive by training, by development, and by proper education. This is subject to the law of diminishing marginal utility. Now, what will happen to my utility at the end of these 2 hours? Can you expect the same productivity by the end of the class? When you work, can you expect the same productivity at the end? No. Productivity tends to diminish. Productivity tends to diminish. Not only that, even the satisfaction. Now think of you. Will you have the same satisfaction by the end of this class? කියන්න බලන්න. ඇත්ත කියන්නවද? ඔයගලන්ට දුක හිතනවද ක්ලාස් එක නවත්තද්දි වගේ? අයියෝ සර් තව ටිකක් කරමුකෝ සර්. එහෙම හිතනවද ඔයගලන්ට? දුක හිතෙනවද නැත්නම් ඉක්මනට යන්න ඕනද? අත්ත කියන්නේ. Huh? Want to cry? Ayyo, want to cry. Ayyo, my God. Shoo. I'm reading your answers. It makes me, huh? Right. My point here, බලන්න මගේ පුතාලා හොඳට බලන්න හරිද? Diminishing means decreasing, right? Diminishing. Here utility means the satisfaction you derive from doing something, it goes down, neither. And return mean your productivity, that also tend to diminish. That is the meaning, right? That is the meaning. So labor has this limitation. You can't expect labor to operate and function and perform like a machine. No, you have to give labor some break. Next, the services of the labor cannot be separated from the laborer. Haven't you seen big-headed people, swollen heads in your life? පණ්ඩිතයෝම දැකලා නැද්ද නිකන් ලයිෆ් එකේ? පෙන්නන්න බැරි පණ්ඩියෝ දැකලා තියෙනවනේ. But some of them are really high performers, but very arrogant. Very arrogant. Maybe it may be some teachers, right? Or maybe some managers, maybe some three-wheel drivers, right? Maybe like they are very skillful, but they have swollen heads, right? Okay. Now suppose I am the manager. I'm the manager and I have hired you. And according to me, you are a swollen head. According to me. Okay, which means but you are really well performing one. Okay. I don't like you, but I like your work. Can I ask you to not to come to office, but send your labor? Only send your work? Can I ask you to do it? If it's a physical workplace, can I do that? මම තමුසෙට ආස නැහැ එන්න එපා. තමුසෙගේ වැඩ විතරක් ඇවිල්ලා කරනවා. එහෙම කියන්න පුළුවන්ද? එහෙම කියන්න බෑ. එහෙම we can't say like that. So that's the thing. Services of the labor පුතේ cannot be separated from the laborer. You have to tolerate him. Courier service. අයියෝ සෙනිදී මාර ක්‍රියේටිව් නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ. හරි ආසයි ෆිසිකල් ක්ලාස් එක ඔයගොල්ලන්ව හම්බෙන්න මට. Oh, courier service people. I deal යනවනේ. අනේ අම්මේ. උඹලා පැහිච්ච ආච්චිලා. ඕනවාර කිව්වම කියන්න තියෙනවා තව ගොඩක් දේවල්. But I like. It's okay. You can please be expressive like that, right? As far as it's discipline, no problem. I really enjoy those, right? And that's why I'm telling others also, right? Laborers collectively have the ability to be organized and to bargain. Have you heard of trade unions in Sinhala Vurtiya Samiti? Trade unions ala tiyinawada in Sri Lanka? Trade unions, they have been organized. Neda puthe? They bargain. They bargain for what they want. Neda? When the salary is not enough, when the job security is not there, when the training is not enough, when the proper EPF, ETF is not counted, so then definitely they organize, and they organize industrial actions such as strikes, boycotting, fasting, and kind of satyagraha. You know, right? Right. Did you understand the characteristics of labor, Pute? Did you understand? So far, so good? මාතක තරහදනේ උත්තර දෙන්නේ නැත්තේ? Okay, good. මට පොඩ්ඩක් පරක් වෙලා වගේ මට messages එන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ. All right. Good. What is the next one? The factors that determine the stock of labor available. Right. Now, Buddha, what are the factors that determine the stock of labor available for a nation? Take Sri Lanka for an example. Wait. Now, you think like the president of the country. Suppose, fortunately or unfortunately, you have been elected as the president of our country. Okay? And you have hired me as your head of consultants. You have hired your A-level economics, Dulip sir. So, okay. So now you want me to write a report to you. You tell me, Mr. Fernando, or you sometimes call me sir. Okay, I also call you sir. You call me sir. I want, I want to really develop this country, and you have to write a report regarding the resources we have got. The resources we have got. Okay, so you have given me that task. Okay, since I'm a kind of a specialist in economics, only in economics, I can do that. But I don't know others. This I can do. So I recognize the resources in different categories: land, capital, labor, entrepreneurship. Land, I will definitely think of all 9 provinces and recognize like weather conditions, climate conditions, soil, minerals, everything, and put in the report. Capital, it includes physical items, it like arranged lands and industrial zones, telecommunication, port, airport, everything. Then there is a part called labor. There's a part called labor. So now I want to type, or I want to think, and I'm typing now the report because it's presidential report. I have to give it to you. You are the president of the country, right? Okay. So I write labor. First, I have to give you an information called the population, country's population, right? Out of that, I have to show you, sir, this is the working age population. That is the non-working age population. And sir, out of this working age population, sir, this part, actually, they are ready to work, economically active. We call that active part the labor force. But this other part in the working age, sir, they're not ready to work, like full-time students, right? They are not ready to work, although they are in the working age. And so when you just take economically active population called labor force, we can see 95% of employed and another 5% of that's unemployed at the moment. And I can take again employed population and say, sir, although we say employment is 95%, sir, there's a problem because there's a massive underemployment. Some people don't have a regular job, sir, right? And sir, there's another problem. They don't earn the minimum salary, sir. Huh? Likewise, I can give these details. And even not only that, demographic profile. Demographic profile is basically population and their gender, age, everything. So you understood what labor is all about. Terunada, President, sir, madam, understood? Your sir calls you sir, man, madam. Then your gas ustanone. Good, 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 good. Good, good, good. So it's how you felt, huh? In the world of dream, being a president, did you enjoy? Huh? You didn't enjoy. Why? Why? I hate politics. It's okay, Ane. So, suppose you are a politician like Nelson Mandela, who really want to change the country. All right, good, good. I use all these tactics just to reach your mind so that I can plant the seed of this idea at the right place of your brain. Right? Okay, good, good, good. So these are the determinants that you need to write. First one, write down, Puta, the size of the population. The size of the population. The size of the population. Next one, number 2, the age structure of the population. The age structure of the population, which means they are ages. Age structure of the population. Number 3, health profile of population. Health. For an example, life expectancy at birth, whether they have chronic diseases, what should be the retirement age. Fourth one, education level of the population. Education level of the population. Next, wage rate. Wage rate. Or you can say salary level. Wage rate or salary level. Wage rate or salary level. And there's one thing you can write there. Generation of businesses that absorb labor. You know what happened if there is not enough businesses, right? You know in Sri Lanka we have a big problem, I think you are aware of, right? High quality, top quality people, there's a trend of they leave the country. Do you know that? Do you know that high performing individuals, they leave the country? It is because we can't keep quality labor in Sri Lanka. They leave the country, very especially at the mental labor level. And not only that, even chefs, right? We call it some brain drain. Very good. Brain drain, right? So we lose them. So managers, executives, scientists, lecturers, right? It's basically the salary level, and there are not enough businesses to absorb their labor. So they left, they leave. Finish writing? Finish writing? Speed එක maintain කරන්න කියලා මං කිව්වා පුතේ. Right, good. Very good. We'll see what the next topic. We have a flow chart. You love flow charts, no? I know. Right. Now, population in Sri Lanka. See whether you understand this. This is not in the tune. So it's in 2019, these are the population look like, right? Right? Yes. Total population 21.67, and you can see this is male population 10.49 as a percentage this, and this is the female population. So in Sri Lanka, number of females has exceeded the number of males. So in Sri Lanka, women population, female population has outnumbered us. Boys, we have become a very scarce, precious neither. So it's massive demand for us. So don't go after girls. Just keep your status. Okay. Let them come after us. Let them come after us. You can understand. Look at the percentages. 51.6 them and 48.4 us. Okay. Are we going to be extinct? Why you don't think like a mammoth or a dinosaur, right? Don't think like a mammoth or dinosaur, right? We'll never go after them. Right. Okay. So boys, you wait and see, like in next 10 years or something, when this goes to 40 and this goes to 60. In some other like 10-40 years, when it goes to 35 and this goes to 55, you have to make reservations for us. Reservations. Girls will fight over us among other girls. They'll fight. They say this man, this gentleman is mine. I don't want to give it to you. Don't, no way. They'll fight. So we don't know whether this trend will continue or not. right? කෙල්ල ටිකට මල පැල්ල පුතා ඉන්නේ දැන් හොඳේ අපේ ගෑල්ල වයි ටිකට just a joke, you know, right? Good, don't misunderstand these things, right? Okay, right, boys. So you know the message, right? Keep your status, don't go after them, right? But always respect girls, and girls, you too respect boys, right? So this population is the number of people. So we have 21.67 now. In this year it went up little bit, and but COVID has definitely affected the world population to go down, right? Okay, so and you can see the age structure. Now tell me, where are you? What is your category? Your category is category 1, 2 or 3. Kiyan balan? What is your category? Mama you ai dennam එක category එකේ තමයි හරිද? අපි දෙන්නම ඉන්නේ මෙතන 15 to 59. 15 to 59. Right? So this is what we call working age. Even today we take this as well, working age, but this is the population very young to work. And today we have a problem. Are you aware of a population problem called population aging? Population aging, right? So however, some argue that this COVID-19 thing was a creation but of somebody who wanted to stop this trend. This is why this COVID-19 thing mostly affected older people. Some argue like that, but I don't have any proof to prove this, right? That we don't know, but we can't dispose or eliminate older people from the planet like that, right? Because we always need their counsel, we always need their experience and expertise. So if someone created this at the very top level, strategic level, I don't know, right? The world has lots of conspiracies like that. That someone will face a very tragic end in his or her life. I don't know if it's something really bad, right? But I think this population aging thing has been largely affected by this COVID-19 thing, right? Okay, magiputala. Population, we divide it working age and non-working age population. I will explain the difference. Working age, economically active, which means they are ready to work, and economically inactive, although they are in the working age, they are not ready to work. Economically active population is divided into two: employed population, unemployed population. I will help you to understand this. Working age means this population census, right? Counting population is done by the Department of Census and Statistics of Sri Lanka. Jana Sankhya Lekana Department of Census and Statistics. So according to that, there's a minimum age limit for working age, and that is 15 years and above. So that is called working age. So we can say that non-working age means below 15 years of age. So that is non-working age, below 15 years of age. Okay. And population that is 15 years and above, we divide into two parts. The economically active means this is what we call the country's labor force. Economically active means, Puta, they are willing and able, in other words, ready to work. Economically inactive mean, Pute, they are not ready to work at the moment. Maybe later. Not ready to work at the moment. Right. Then employed population means They have a job at the moment. They have a job at the moment. Unemployed means they don't have a job at the moment. They are ready to work, willing to work, but they have not yet found a job. Listen. Very good. Sign up for us. A very good question. Sir, then why is it that everyone under 18 should study? So is it 18 or 15? Very good question. This is not what I'm teaching is not law. Law says all individuals until reaching like 18 years of age must be studying. This is basically what the Department of Census and Statistics uses. 15. It is not the law, right? Now wait, my second point here is we have been in all these boxes, right? Before you celebrated your 15th year, you were here. You were here. Here. And after you celebrated your 15th birthday, you came to working age population. At the moment you are here. At the moment you are here. You are in the working age, but not ready to work. You came here. And once A-level is done, university period is done, you will come here. Are economically active, ready to work. But until you find your job, you will be here, unemployed. And when you get a job, you will have a party. I got a job. This is where you want to be. This is where you want to be. And when you become too old to work, you will go here. Too old to work. Then you will go here again. Did you understand your life now? Buddha? Did you understand? Huh? That is called our life, neither. Very good. Very good. Okay, did you understand this? All this thing, right? Not only the life thing, economics thing. Buddha? Without any trouble, you got it? Right. One student asked, working age differs from country to country. Yes, but internationally now they use 15 years, right? But as a country develops and the world develops, they definitely raise that age. Okay, mage putalata theruna neda? Good. Very good. Right. Then I need to erase this, clear this, right? Okay, now get the tune. So it's very clear now. Now I'm going to talk about labor force. Mage putala labor force kiyanne menna me topic එක මතක තියාගන්න. Economically active population is what we call the labor force. So they are willing and able to supply their labor to an economic activity, which means they are ready to work. Okay, right. So I actually really wanted to tell you about our life, like so when we make a classification, right, in our life in different periods we will be find somewhere, and after that we see we have been there everywhere, right? So myself, I have been everywhere, right? So that's the way. So you also will have the same experience. So when you think like that, studying a flowchart like that, it's very logical, very easy. you know, okay, population, working age, non-working age. Before my 15th year birthday, I was there, non-working age, no, but I'm here now, working age. Although I'm in the working age, I'm not economically active. I'm economically inactive, and myself and my grandparents economically inactive. Only my even my mother decided to not to work because of me. She's a housewife, so she also is with us now, economically inactive. But my father and my elder brothers, sisters are economically active at the moment. Labor force. Ayo, although my Aki has a Aki wants to work, only my Ayya has a job, Tati has a job. Aki is unemployment. So Aki is unemployment. Ayya and Tati economically active and employed. Aki economically active, want to be active, but unemployed. So it's like a story you can tell yourself. Anything you want to ask? You have to make it less theoretical and more practical. Then we can learn. Monari ahana dinada putala prashna? Great. Which means I can proceed. Okay, good. So labor force. Labor force. Right. I have given an extra note here. It's not in the tune. If you want, you can just write that down. Labor supply of a country is determined by several factors. Labor supply, first population, then working age population, then labor force, and employed population, right? So this is how we identified our labor supply. Out of this population, all this population cannot be called labor. Working age population is, you can see, out of around 21.92 million people, 16.3 only working age. And out of that, this is what we call labor actually. This is what we call Pute labor supply. But at the moment, only this part is employed. 8.5 labor force, 8.2 are working, which means 0.3 million people are unemployed at the moment. Okay, Musawir, I will definitely consider your request, Puta, don't worry. Right. The determinants of labor supply, the Sri Lankan context at the moment, right? Our unemployment rate is slightly over 5%. I will give you that, Puta, don't worry. I will give you that. Finnish kids, okay. So you can see how it's population related, don't forget that. And then first we recognize the working age, 15 years of age and above working age, right? And out of that, people are ready to work, economically active labor supply. And then out of that, we have employed population, because we can't say entire labor force is employed at any given moment. Definitely there will be some people who want to work, but do not work at the moment. Right. Finish. Finish. Liali vela poddat දාන්න හොඳේ. Okay. Okay. Right. Labor force. Labor force. So labor force includes employed population plus unemployed population. Can you please write an equation here? Labor force equals actually there can be two formulas. I'll give you both. Putala balagana pute, ondra balagana. First we can find don't start writing, just wait, okay? Labor force we can find first in this way. Get the working age population. get the working age population. From that, we can subtract economically inactive population. Economically inactive population. Haradapute, this is just one way of finding a labor force. In fact, this can be thought as the first method of finding labor force. And there is another method. So I put equal sign again. And that method says you can find labor force by taking the sum of employed population, those who want to work and those who are working, plus unemployed population. To understand the meaning of this, please refer to the flowchart given above. Right? You can see the labor force or the economically active population is get from the top down. Working age population is divided into two parts, economically active and economically inactive. Right? And from bottom up, you see labor force divides into two parts, employed and unemployed, which means when we find the sum of those two categories, again we get labor force. Okay, write down this. This is the second method of finding labor force. Quickly. Make sure you write both. And here it's the equal sign. Okay, Puta? I told you about the speed. Diana, very good. Devmi, very good. Superb, huh? Shah. Finish writing. Very good. Ah. Sarah, Lai, good. Shania Hundai, Elizabeth, good. Rashmi, good. Menuka, good. Anila, good. Fatima, good. Chuttak ikmant liye muneda pute. Situmya, Shevan, good pute. Very good. Very good. I'll give it like some 10 seconds. After that, I'm going to take it away. Working age population minus economically inactive population, or employed population plus unemployed population. Right. Okay. Then you can see, answer the following questions. Are you in the working age population at the moment? Why? Right? Working age. Right. Okay. Now, right. So labor force includes employed population plus unemployed population. I told you that. Two questions for you. Okay. Are you in the working age population at the moment? Why? Tell me. Are you in the working age population at the moment? Yes. No, 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 it should be yes. Why is there anybody who is below 15? No, here, yes. Reason, because I am about 15 years of age now. Write down. Write down. Very good. Yes. Reason, because I am above 15 years of age at the moment. So you are in the working age. You are in the working age. You are in the working age. Number two, okay, you are in the working age now. Are you in the labor force of the country? Which means Are you economically active at the moment? I need the answer and the reason both. No, not because we don't work. Not because you don't work. Right? I'm asking the proper reason. Reason here, no. Reason because I am not above. I am a full-time student. Neither. Although you do your studies on part-time basis, you are a full-time student. Not yet completed studies. You are just you go to school. That's the reason. Because I'm a full-time student at the moment, or you can say at the moment I'm not ready to work. At the moment I'm not ready to work. Quickly. Quickly. Finished? Yes. Now, very good question, Amashi. So what about the part-time workers who are working while studying? If we have a student at the moment, one of you, Agan, you are in the working age years, and are you in the labor force? He would tell yes, because he is working at the moment, even at part-time is working. Amashi, did you understand, Puta? Yes, you are economically inactive. Savit me, correct. Amashi got it. Good, Puta. Very good. Very good. It's a nice question you asked, huh? Very good. So for most of the things we learn, there are exceptions. Right? There are exceptions, which means you should ask, you should be interested in those exceptions. What about, say, one of the students here, right? I know in 2022 batch, there are some students in 2021 batch, they are working. Very little minority working. So they would be, they're employed. Sir, can a country's ruling system affect the labor force? A communist state is, yeah, definitely a communist or a centrally planned command system, their control over labor is relatively higher, right? Okay, we have a target to accomplish. Right. Oh, now I'm going to give you some. I have given in the 2019 details, so you better take one more column and put 2020 details as well. Okay, right. Right. So indicator for the year 2020, population size 21.92. These are 2020 figures. Population size 21.92 million. So we are reaching a 22 million population now. Size of the labor force 8.5. Employment rate is 94.5. One student asked about unemployment rate of the country. You can see Puta, the latest one, 5.5%. Which means when you just take 100 persons in economically active population, 94.5% are employed and 5.5% unemployed. Quickly add this to the details. Make it fast. Yes, definitely. Good question. Very good question. This figure, because of COVID, this can go up. Unemployment can go up. And you can see their sum is always 100. When you just take their sum is 100. So which means when unemployment goes up, employment goes down. And this COVID in the short run can cause the population to go down. Right? And in the long run, population will go up. Don't ask why. Yeah, you can understand this why the population is falling, because people die. So in the long run, the population will go up. Don't ask why and how. Use your imaginative uh, thinking to understand. Can I? We know, sure, we know. Onila, ගොඩක් දේවල් දන්න ළමයෙක් ඔයා නේ. ෂා. බලන්නකො. Good. Vinuk. No, we did not miss anything. Did we miss anything? No. Which one we missed? Are you in the labor force of the country? Answer was given, Naputa. You missed. Why did you miss? Puta, someone get an image of that and put in the group. Huh? Okay. Someone write images for this and this. Soon after the class must please upload it to the group. Group right. Okay. So the labor part is over. Now we have to do entrepreneurship part. Right? Okay. Give yourself a 2-minute break. Right? 2-minute break. After that, we are going to start. Right. Right. So the topic of labor is now done. So today we have another part to do, and that is entrepreneurship and productivity. Okay. Get the tune first. Same page, page number 46. You can see human resource type 2 entrepreneurship. Right. First, we'll get the definition and we'll write it here. Okay. Right. So entrepreneurship, it's a very useful resource. And this is the definition of entrepreneurship in economics. I read, you can start writing once I finish reading. Entrepreneurship is a very special human resource that combines and coordinates other resources and accepts the risks of initiating a business venture and makes business policy decisions while making innovations. So in this definition, you have what entrepreneurs do. They combine and coordinate other resources. They accept risks. They start businesses, then make business policy decisions, and they make innovations. This is why they are special. Okay, write this down. Entrepreneurship is a very special human resource. Make sure the speed is optimum. You follow a particular speed that you can be really proud of. Why? You are writing fast and handwriting is clear. Get that pride every time when you write. That is on the job training, mastering the speed of answering. Okay. Entrepreneurship is a very special human resource that combines and coordinates other resources and accepts the risks of initiating a business venture and make business policy decisions while making innovations. Finish. Excellent. Excellent. Superb. Niyamaine. Excellent. Superb. Superb. Please make sure whether your handwriting is all right. පේන්න තියෙනවද කියලා බලන්න. Okay, good. Good. Right. It is almost readable for you. Okay, it's good then. Right. You can see these two paragraphs. Read that with me. Without entrepreneurship, it is impossible to have businesses and products, and other resources cannot be organized and used. Among all other factors of production, entrepreneurship is given extremely important recognition because of its importance for the economic growth and development of nations. Right? Functions of an entrepreneur. Okay. Is there any volunteer reader who would help me to read these four functions of entrepreneurs? Anybody? This also is a part of your training, right? I told you. Anybody who prefer reading? Okay. Debra, very good. Wait, I unmute you. Okay, Debra. Others, please make sure mics are muted. Huh? Debra, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Puta, can you just make it a little bit louder?
Good evening, sir. Could you hear me?
Debra, I can't hear you.
Debra, I can't hear you. Good evening, sir.
Oh, good evening. Good evening. Very good evening. Now we can hear you. Okay, read Puta.
The functions of an entrepreneur. The entrepreneur takes the initiative in combining the resources of land, labor, and capital to produce a good or a service. The entrepreneur makes a strategic business policy decisions that sets the course of an enterprise. The entrepreneur is an innovator. He or she commercializes new products, new production techniques, or even new forms of business organizations. The entrepreneur is a risk bearer. The entrepreneur has no guarantee of profit. The reward of the entrepreneur's time, effort, and abilities may be profits or losses.
Right. Please read the next one as well, darling. Debra. Okay, I'll read that. Entrepreneurial qualities, visionary. An entrepreneur is always thinking of the future, and sometimes he only can see the future. Others can't see what he is thinking. Leadership, self-confidence, courageous, persistence, ability to deal with the challenges, people handling skills, communication skills. Without these skills, a person can't be a good entrepreneur. So he needs to recognize these skills, acquire them, develop them, use them. So this is about entrepreneurs. This is about entrepreneurs. Right? Oh, thank you, Puta, Debra. Right. So profits or losses are the incomes derived from entrepreneurship. It can be profits or losses. Right. The next one you can see the next topic, productivity. Right. This is going to be the last section, right? Productivity. Entrepreneurial resource, I think we did it. This is the topic, productivity, sorry. This is productivity formula. Volume of output produced, volume of inputs used. So in front of productivity formula, can you just write this down? Volume of output produced, volume of inputs used. No, Nila, all entrepreneurs don't have the same skills, but they have some of them. All don't have all skills, right? Volume of output produced over volume of inputs used. Just imagine this. Just imagine this, right? One employee, by working 10 hours a day, made 250 bricks. Enumerate the productivity of that employee. So I write the formula. Productivity equals number of bricks made dividing it by number of hours of work. So you get number of bricks made equals 250 bricks, and number of hours of work 10 hours. Always when a formula is written, right, write an example like this, then you understand the application side of the formula. Then you know the answer equals 25 bricks. So the meaning, this employee on average has made 25 bricks per hour. 25 bricks per hour. That is called productivity. Putalada terunada? Better to write this example, right? Example kaliyaganda. Others understood, Puta? Good. Very good. Quickly, finish writing. Very good. Very good. Okay. Great. You can find it for hours, or if I just mention 10 employees are there, you can find the productivity per employee, right? You can find machine productivity, material productivity, labor productivity separately, right? Okay, great. Right. Determinants of productivity, write down division of labor and productivity. That is there, I think. Wait. We can write, we can just one more thing that I need to explain here. Productivity is volume of output produced. Balagana pute. Produced divided by the volume of input used. Right. Right. Now we need to study this situation. What are the situations where productivity is increased? We want productivity to go up. And there are 5 ways of increasing productivity. There are 5 ways of increasing productivity. Balaganapute, there are 5 ways. Number 1, I use a separate special color for it. Okay, say blue. First, increase the volume of output while the volume of inputs remain constant. Same amount of inputs, but you increase the volume of output, so the productivity will increase. That is number 1. Number 2, this is number 1. Second scenario, we use green color. Decrease in the volume of input while the volume of output remains constant. Now what? Output remains constant, but you use less of inputs. So the denominator becomes smaller. Again, the final answer, which means productivity will go up. So that is the second way of improving productivity. Number 3, I use brown color. Increase the volume of output while the volume of inputs decrease. It's very hard to do, but if we can do, output increases and input use goes down. So it's wonderful way of increasing productivity, but it's not easy to do that. There is a third way. Fourth one, this color, orange. Increasing the volume of output faster. Output rises faster and inputs also rise, but its increase is relatively smaller. So this is the fourth way of improving productivity. You can see the numerator rises faster than that of the denominator. The final situation, we take this color. Decrease in the volume of output slower. Now what happened? Both decrease. Output decrease is slow. Numerator slow, small decrease, but denominator massive decrease. Right? So these are called the 5 situations of raising productivity. Putha, did you understand my explanation with the formula? With this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Puthalata Terunade? Very good. Excellent. So this is what, as a manager, suppose that you are a manager, so improving productivity is at the core of your job. How do you increase productivity? These are the 5 ways, technically 5 ways of improving productivity. You have to find, depending upon the way you choose, what method that you use. Okay, right. Just write this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ekaliyagan taggala. No, it's printed means I want you to write down these arrows. I want you to draw these arrows. That's why. Right. Okay. right. Now you can see the main determinants of productivity. Main determinants of productivity, right. First one, write down division of labor. Division of labor, and please split into two. Please write division of labor as number 1 and productivity is as number 2. So this should be 3. This is 4. This is 5. Next, technology. Technology. So division of labor, productivity, technology, they all improve, right? Productivity. Metana me productivity කියන එකට දාන්න specialization කියලා. It's a mistake. Specialization. Sorry, Puta. Actually, it should be number 2. It's a mistake I have made. Sorry. Division of labor, number 1. Number 2, specialization. Number 3, technology. Number 4, management. And the last one, you know it, human capital. All these can improve the productivity. All these can improve productivity. Division of labor, technology, sorry, division of labor, specialization, technology, management, and human capital. So the technology, management, human capital we have already covered. These two will be explained later. Now I'm going to explain this number 1, division of labor and specialization. Right, great. Division of labor and specialization. Okay, finished, huh? We are now going to talk about division of labor. Division of labor. Meaning is this, I think the material contains all information, right? Division of labor, it's there, right? Now, what is this? Wait. There was an era in the world a certain product had to be manufactured from the beginning to the end by the same employee or by one group of employees. Think of the manufacturing process of cars. So a car can be manufactured by one individual or by one group from the beginning to the end. But do you think today, is that the way cars are produced? This today, do you think that one employee or one group of employees there from the beginning to the end of the manufacturing process of a car? You think? No. No. Today, the work has been divided, sliced, segmented. So the entire process of the production of a car has been divided into parts. So for each of the parts or the steps, you can assign individuals. They have to do only that part. They don't have to worry about what others are doing. There are others who have been assigned and made responsible for them. So this is called division of labor. This is how modern large-scale manufacturing facilities produce a massive scale of output. our garment factory, biscuit manufacturing, newspaper manufacturing, mobile phone, cars, computer assembling. So this is how they have been produced. Division of labor. Entire group is recognized from A to Z and sliced into manageable proportions, small, simple tasks. So you can introduce, you can assign not only labor, you can introduce simple machineries to each of these. So that will increase the speed, capacity, productivity, quality, everything. This is what we call division of labor. Right? Good. This is there. Division of labor is the separation of the work required to produce a product into a number of different tasks that are performed by different workers. It's very important. It's the separation of the work required to produce a product into a number of different tasks and are performed by different workers. Right? Good. This is so, you know, the father of economics, Adam Smith, in his Wealth of Nations, he mentioned this one. It's just a picture, right? To Smith, one cause of wealth as the division of labor. He described a workshop where 10 workers made nothing but pins. One draws out wire. This is what he does. Draws out wire. Draws out wire. Here he. The second one, straightening it. This is him. That is his job. Third one, sharpening the point. Last one, puts the heads on. So you can see and so on. And you can see here you have pins. You can't say who, which exact employee produced this pin, which produced this. We all know. They all contributed to it. Got the point? Understood clearly? Division of labor. Output is produced. You can see each an employee, right, contributing it to it. Right? Okay, very good, very good. We'll use another example. You eat bread now? So bread production, many people are involved. Farmer, right? We don't realize it. Mills, transport, bakery, retailers. Yes, it's division of labor. It's division of labor. Simple, isn't it? Very simple, huh? Great. Division of labor is everywhere. Everywhere. Right. So what is specialization? Specialization is this. Specialization is a method of production where a business or an economy focuses on the production of a limited and selected scope of products. Rather than producing everything, they make a choice. We would be producing this product or these products and they gain greater degree of productive efficiency. And economies of large scale means when they produce a product on a large scale basis, they get massive advantages. Cost per unit goes down. They become more experts in producing them. Wastage can be avoided. Byproducts can be obtained. Bulk buying and bulk selling, reaching international markets, lots of benefits. Specialization. Now, I am a specialized teacher only in the field of economics and business studies. Suppose Visakians want, right, Dulip sir to come and teach biology. Can I do that? Suppose principal madam also says, Dulip sir, biology girls ask you, you to come and teach them biology. Can I do that? Yes. Pissuda matabe. How can I? No. I'm not specialized in. Even I can't teach. I don't think that I can teach accounting. It's our field, but I don't think I can teach. Right? Because I'm not specialized into it. But econ BS, no problem. I can teach. Right? Good. So that's what that happens to us. We become specialized as we grow. From those small days, can you teach physics? You know, Buddha, no, I have not studied those. No, I can't. Right? Okay, good, good. So you have this specialization. One task, last one. Advantages, disadvantages. I quickly go through the advantages. I'll explain them one by one. Advantages. Division of labor and specialization as advantages. First, same task, not some task, same task is repeated and it increases productivity. And you can choose the best job that suits you and can obtain the benefits of time effectiveness. Why? You don't have to move from one task to another. You do the same task again and again. An individual task, capital items can easily be applied. You can use simple machinery to support your work, and it increases the speed and capacity, and it increases the controllability, flexibility, and it has a positive impact on product quality. But there are disadvantages as well. We need to be aware of that side as well. So work is repeated. It becomes monotonous, bored, job boredom, and greater degree of interdependence. One section of the company or production process highly depends on others. So higher interdependence. An organization firm gets specialized but unskilled labor. You don't have workers who can complete a work. They only contribute to it. You don't have anyone who can finish a costume. They only can pay a pocket or buttons or only parts of the work. They are unskilled and can cause occupational diseases. Since the same part of the body or the same senses are being used, that part may get affected adversely. Employees are supposed to work with tight work schedules. Yes, highly timed, and less room for employee creativity. Why? Doing the same thing, they become less creative, and problems because of employee absenteeism. Right? So suppose, for an example, your econ teacher is absent today. Problems, no? When your teachers are absent, does it create problems? Teachers didn't come. Problems, it affects you, no? You don't like it happening, ne? Asana neda? No. We cry a lot. Oh my God. Vinuk, you are always crying, Namin. Earlier also you said you cry. Oh. Anyway, when absenteeism is there, it does not affect you sometimes because you like it when the teacher doesn't come, but it affects the school. You like it. ඉතින් බලනවා මමාවේ නැති වුණත් ආස වෙයි. Okay, good. Great. Today's session is over. Today's session is over. We covered a target. So it's next week. I don't speak. You only write answers. Good night. God bless you.